We're getting ready to paint these kitchen cabinets. Before we can do that, there's quite a bit of prep work involved. So this video is gonna just be how we went about painting these. You can probably look up a lot of different YouTube videos on people painting their cabinets, but we're gonna show you how we do it. So first off, like I said, there's quite a bit of prep work involved. So cleaning the cabinets really well, sanding them is the kind of the first stage of painting these cabinets. So just so you know kind of what the idea is, I wanted to paint the bottom cabinets a green color and the top cabinets a white color. I'll probably put a picture here of my inspiration for wanting to do this style for this kitchen. And these cabinets are in very good condition, but just not quite to what my style is. So we're gonna kind of give them a little bit of a facelift to just modernize the kitchen a little bit more. And so first off, I'm just going to be taking all of the hardware off, the knobs and the bars on all the cabinets to make cleaning easier. So I'm just going to show you really quick how I'm doing that. So I'm just going to take this tool here, do this cabinet here, if you can see it. And I'm going to be taking all of these off. Like so. In addition to removing the hardware, we'll also have to remove all these little stoppers on the cabinets. So I'm just taking some pliers and grabbing onto them. Hard to do camera and do this at the same time. Twist them and remove them. And we're going to be removing all those as well. Okay, so we removed all the hardware and all the little door stoppers from the cabinet doors. So now we're going to take the time to really clean the cabinets well, the total surface of the cabinet. So we bought this, this is called TSP, and this has liquid TSP substitute. We saw that there were a couple different options. You could have bought a powder that you can mix with water, or that's concentrated, so you still mix this with water. And this is specially meant for cleaning surfaces that are to be painted. You know, part of the trick of getting these cabinets painted well is to make sure they're very clean, so that the paint binds well. And also, being that it is a kitchen, kitchens get a lot of grease, so we really want to take the time to clean these, so we're going to be doing that. Okay, so I diluted the cleaner according to the instructions on the bottle, and put it in this little pressurized sprayer so that we can spray the cabinets and get them nice and clean. And we'll go rag and just clean in all the little grooves and every single part of the surface of this cabinet and all the cabinets. Finally done cleaning. Took a little longer than I thought, especially this area above where normally the stove's here, and those cabinets were really bad. I had to do multiple rounds of that degreaser stuff because they were really greasy and like really tough to remove the grease. But we are now moving on to the next step, which is sanding. So we're going to sand all the surfaces, and we're gonna be, or I'm gonna, you know, try to get it every surface that I can, including the edges here. So that's kind of what this is for. Yeah, the edges. With this. So, and the other surfaces as well. So that's next. So we decided we're gonna remove all the doors and drawers for sanding. In order to do that, we need to make sure we keep track of where every single door and drawer is. So I went ahead and labeled every door on here. So the way that we're gonna keep track is the number on the inside of the cabinet corresponds with the number on the door, so that when we take them off, we know where to put them. And then for the drawers, we're gonna leave the main drawer in place, and we're just gonna take the face plate off because we're only gonna paint that part. So that's gonna stay there. And so everything's labeled now, and we're gonna start removing them. This looks like a lot of doors when they're next to each other all at once like that. So next up, we are going to sand everything. It's going to take us a long time to sand every single door and surface of the cabinet, so I probably won't really film that. You guys saw how I showed a little bit of the sanding earlier, so I'm basically just going to do that for every surface, and that'll be the majority of the prep work, so that we can start painting. Update: we've been sanding for days. Sanding takes a very long time. These are all the doors of the cabinets that are sanded. These are all the drawer fronts that are sanded. And then of course we have to sand the actual base cabinets themselves. So we're pretty much done with sanding, and now we need to clean them up really well. Because everything's freshly sanded and there's still a lot of residue from the sanding, we're just going with the shop vac with the little brush attachment, and we're just cleaning up all the doors. And the brush helps just to get in all the little crevices there. So we're going to be doing that to all the doors and as well to the base cabinets themselves. We vacuumed everything. Now we're going with our TSP cleaner another time and just giving them a quick wipe down, so that after this, now they should be ready for paint. We are getting ready to paint some primer today. We've got the doors all laid out here. Hector started laying them all out, and he's getting the sprayer ready to spray them. Hopefully it goes smoothly. This is what we are using for primer. It's from Sherwin-Williams. It's Extreme Block Stain Blocking Primer Sealer. So this is what was recommended based on some research we did for primer. And then, so this is the paint that we're using for the cabinets. It's again Sherwin-Williams, their emerald paint, and it's urethane. So This is really great for cabinets. It dries super hard. It's very durable, and again, based on the research, this was one of the top recommended brands for painting cabinets. So we are going to be painting, again, I mentioned this earlier, I believe, but we're going to be doing the top cabinets a white color and the bottom cabinets a green color. This is actually the green color that I chose. We are masking everything up for painting prep. And so we're just using this pretty nifty stuff that I didn't know existed, but it's just tape on the end of, or what would you call this? It's like a roll of plastic, but there's tape at the end of it. So when you mask it, then you can pull out the plastic for doing this kind of stuff. So we're masking everything so that we can use the sprayer and not have to worry about anything else getting painted other than what we want to get painted. Okay, so we started attempting to paint the cabinet doors yesterday, and I just want to go through kind of what we did, just as a learning experience. So initially we tried using these HVLP spray guns, and what happened with those, so the way that there's different types of paint spray guns, and that one is an HVLP. And we noticed when we were painting, it's going to be really hard to see this in the camera, but I'm going to try my best. Can you see how it's kind of grainy? Like it's not like a smooth finish. And we were adjusting, or Hector was adjusting the nozzles over and over again, and like no matter what, we were getting this really grainy, coarse texture on the doors, and it just wasn't looking how we wanted it to. So we did some research and ended up finding out that the HVLP spray guns they work under lower pressure, so they don't do a really great job of breaking up the paint, and that's why you get this more of a coarse texture. So we ended up actually going out and buying a different type of paint sprayer, or Hector went out and bought a different one. So this is called an airless sprayer, and this is the one he got. It's a little more expensive, which is why we tried doing the other type of sprayer first, and I guess now we realize that we should have probably just gotten this one from the beginning. But this one works under much higher pressure, so it's able to atomize the paint, and you get a much better, finer spray for a better finish. So we are going to be trying that. We are painting outside today. We moved some of the stuff outside so that we can have a little more space. So right now we're painting the bottoms, all the bottom doors. As you remember, we're doing green. I was a little nervous about choosing the color because I'm just not super great with choosing colors, or with choosing the color that I'm thinking in my head. It usually ends up coming out kind of different. So honestly, this is a little lighter of a green that I was picturing, but it isn't all the way dried, and most likely we're gonna give it a second coat. And we're in the bright, daylight right now, so I think all those factors are making it appear lighter to my eyes right now, but I'm hoping that when it is in the kitchen it'll look good. And honestly, I still think it's a nice color. It's just a little lighter than I originally kind of had in mind. Okay, so we've gone through and sprayed all the doors and all the base cabinets. One problem we were having is when we were using the sprayer, this might be hard to capture. You can kind of see here. If you spray even just a little bit too much, it starts to kind of drip down, and that's obviously not something that we want. So we had to go back and sand the spots that were no good. You can kind of see that here, and we're gonna go back and paint them. Now this, what I just showed you on the white part, this is actually after we had sanded it, and Hector tried to go back and do another spray, and he said he was being really careful and it still did it. So we figured instead of trying to, you know, deal with the sprayer and the hassle of trying to get the technique just right, we're gonna just repaint with a roller on the faces, and that way, you know, we don't get that happening and we don't have to deal with the sprayer having a mind of its own. So we're almost done, and we'll show you. This is where all the doors are, where we're storing them for right now until we're ready to hang them up. But again, Hector went back and sanded all the ones that had little mistakes, and he went back and sprayed them all. So we're pretty satisfied with the way the doors are looking, and they're just hanging out here until we're done with the rest of it, and then we will put them back on. So we're almost done with this project. Do you have any comments to say about this project?
No, it's more than what we anticipated. I thought it was going to be just spray and it'd be done, but you know, it's a lot more to it. The prep work, the after paint work, it adds up. Will I do it again? Maybe, just differently. We learned a lot from this time.
We will say, I mean, it is quicker to use a sprayer than to hand paint, because I mean, obviously it just goes on so much faster. But cleaning out the sprayer after every use, and then especially because we had two different colors, that's what, you know, is more of a hassle. And then the sprayer kind of acting weird sometimes and not being as easy to control. That's where some of the frustrations were.
Yeah, it's much easier to just roll it.
Forgot to also mention that the sprayer didn't get that spot underneath, just because it was really hard to get in that area with the sprayer, so we had to do that by hand as well. But that's not a big deal to do by hand. That should go by pretty quickly. you.